Today I'm going to be continuing our theming series in Magento, and we're just going to get familiar with the little things. We created our theme here in the last lesson. We just gave it a purple background because it's the color I wanted to give it, and we have nothing else here. There's no real structure to our site. You can see the content's coming in the same way it was before. There's just no stylings whatsoever. We're getting a lot of broken images, all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So the first thing I want to draw attention to is this logo area, this header up here. I'm going to take, maybe like a top-down approach here. We're going to fix stuff starting up here. And then I'm going to get into how we're going to customize layout files and stuff like that. But for this first lesson, I'm just going to show you what we can do with this header and image stuff up here. And in fact, I'm going to change what this file is, the logo that we're looking at, and then I'm going to get rid of this text here because I don't need this. I don't need this here. Okay. So let's actually check this out. I don't know if anybody's level of familiarity with things like inspect element, but in Chrome or Safari, and now in Firefox by default, there's an inspect element. So if you right select something, you can see this inspect element. I think it's called something else in Firefox, but it used to be only done through a plugin called Firebug. But for here, we're just going to be inspecting this. Mine opens on the side here. I'm not going to get into the configuration of that right now, but yours should probably open up on the bottom. And as you can see here, here's our HTML for our page, and here's our CSS. We can sort of look through and see what styles everything's getting. But if you'll notice, we have this image, and the image it's looking for is in skin frontend, base, default, images, logo.gif. And we actually don't want it to be pointing at this image because we don't have that image existing. So what can we do to add a new image here? Well, we could just add this logo.gif to this file for this folder. Actually, let's pull up that file structure so you can see that. So as you can see here, I'm going skin, front end, base, default, images, and there's nothing here that says logo. The reason why there's nothing here is because in the other files, let's go to the default, and then we're going to go to default. You'll notice in here, there is probably going to be, in fact, a logo.gif. Here it is. And this is what you're seeing when you had your other theme loaded. So if we were to grab this file and throw it into our theme, it would work, and we would have our image there because, as we explained in the past couple of tutorials, Magento uses some fallback methods where if it doesn't find things that it's looking for in your theme, it's going to go look in the base default. So I'm going to actually copy this image into our theme here. Now if I refresh this page, we should see that the logo comes in right here. But I don't want this logo. I want the Level Up Tuts logo. And more importantly, this Level Up Tuts logo, where is it? It's a ping. It doesn't look anything like it. It's not a GIF. It's not the image that it is looking for here. So where can we find that? Well, if we go into configuration, under header, it's going to ask what image you're looking for. We're looking for under images and then logo/GIF. Well, what if we just change this to let's do PNG? So it's now going to be looking for the logo ping, and the alt text is going to be Level Up Tuts, and the welcome message is, what do you want to buy? I don't know why. I just came up with that off the top of my head. So, okay. This is going to save. We'll refresh our page. It's not going to be able to find this anymore. It says Level Up Tuts here. I still don't actually want anything to say anything here, and I could do that a couple of ways, one of which I'll show you in a second. So I'm going to grab our ping file that I have of our logo, and I'm going to throw it into our file structure, and then the logo is going to be back and working. So let's drop this in here. I'm going to get rid of this other one so we don't need it. Okay. Let's refresh. Cool. So here's this. Our logo comes in fine. We can change that no problem. And what happens if you want to get rid of this text? I don't really want this here. Well, you could come in here and I could just delete this. Let's save this. Refresh our page once this is done. And it's gone. And that's fine, but if you'll notice in our code here, we still have this HTML, and it's a strong tag within an H1 that says logo. I mean, really, we don't need this code in here. So I'm actually going to eliminate this code altogether, because why have extraneous HTML if you don't need it? So going into our file structure, I'm going to actually go to the base theme, because right now we don't have any layout files in our site. We don't have any template files. So let's go to all the way back here. We can go to App and then Design. I'm actually going to open up one of these right here. So in front end, I'm going to go to Level Up, Default, and then over here I'm going to go to Base, Default, and we're going to go to Template. So these template files, these are sort of the PHP templates that are generating the content of your site. And we'll get into how you can find exactly what content gets generated by what template in a second. But for right now, we're going to go to Page. I'm going to open this one up. And then under HTML, I'm going to grab this header. Okay? And so in my, let's see, in my template file, my template folder right here, we're going to make a new folder, and it's going to be Page. And then inside of Page, we're going to make a new file that says HTML. And then inside of that, we're going to put this header file. I'm just going to copy it and paste it because I want to modify their existing one. I don't want to have to rewrite this myself. And then I'm going to open this up in my text editor, Sublime Text. Okay, so here's our file. And if you'll notice, one thing you can always do to just make sure that you're editing the right file and that your site is seeing this right file, you could come in here and just somewhere, you just write test. This is something I just do a lot to make sure that Magento is seeing the right template that I'm editing myself. If I refresh this, you notice test comes in right here. If you don't see any sort of test or anything, whatever you wrote, first make sure you didn't put inside of any if statement that maybe isn't getting executed. Second, make sure that your folder structure is the exact same as the folder structure you pulled it from. So here, like I said, we did template, page, HTML. Here, I recreated those folders, template, page, HTML. So this one is going to override this one. However, Magento is still going to be grabbing the rest of these other templates from the default theme. Okay, so let's make some modifications. If you remember, I didn't like that strong tag was there for no reason when we weren't using it. If you'll notice, it was inside of our H1 with a class of logo. I'm going to go in here and see this strong. It's going to be asking to get the logo alt strong. So, who needs it? I don't. I'm going to save this, come back out here, and now I'm going to refresh our page. And you'll notice, of course, that text still isn't there, but more importantly, if we inspect this, the strong tag isn't there. And even if we add something here into our logo image alt text where we had it before, we just took out that line of PHP that was generating that on the page. So if you refresh, you still won't see it. Doesn't matter. It's gone. We don't need it. I never wanted it. Okay? So this is how we can start getting to editing some template files, okay? Where you can just copy and paste them from the base default theme, and then we can throw them into our own. As long as the folder structure is the same, Magento will see your new one and use that one instead of the default one. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you some cool developer tools that show you exactly what template belongs to what section of the page, so you can get in and knowing exactly what files you can edit or change yourself.